What is going on, everybody? Zach RC here. Welcome back to the channel and welcome along to episode number 50 of the F1 Ultimate Career Series for the Brazilian Grand Prix. If you guys did miss the last episode, make sure to go check that one out before you see this one. And as always, if you're new around here, then make sure to get subscribed for more future F1 content as the series continues on. So, 2 races left. We're into the penultimate round of the 2022 season with the fastest car now on the grid outright. And we are but a race away potentially from winning our first Drivers' Championship. This is our first real chance to clinch it in the Brazilian Grand Prix later on in the episode. But of course, we have got a sprint race to handle first, of course, making our last few upgrades on the car of the season. Look at the R&D race here. We came from 3rd fastest car on the grid, thought McLaren to be 3rd fastest for a little bit, then pushed on to pass both Red Bull and Ferrari. Move on to our last gearbox, then of the power unit. Should be okay from now to the end of the season. Everything looks all okay from here. And in terms of the championship, then we lead then by 37 points with just 2 races left to go. I think a total of 60 points still to be claimed given the sprint and both Grand Prix plus the 2 fastest laps. So Verstappen can still do it, but it's going to take an almighty collapse from us. And of course, if we can outscore him in the Grand Prix today, that should be enough for us to win the title with a round to spare. And of course, the rivalry with Perez will come down to the qualifying session here in Brazil, because of course we started the last rivalry mid-weekend. So if we can out-qualify Perez, that should be enough potentially time. I'm not sure if we can win from here. I have to wait and see in terms of the results there. Durability department event, of course, that'll be the result of the one we did last time out in the last episode. And we went to the head of durability and with their plan, and it went well. So morale is up. Of course, we've more or less made our last few upgrades of the season. Not winning any points making one in Abu Dhabi or even doing the practice sessions. Of course, regulation changes came in, but of course those won't impact us going into season 4. So we'll make our last little looks around here, see if we can make any more upgrades before the last round. I think we are just too low on resource points here. We've actually got enough for one more durability upgrade, so that'll do us nicely going into that last race. Of course, nothing more for this episode apart from this front wing only flap upgrade in the aero front, which will help us a little bit. And from there, that's more or less all that needs to be done. We'll have a quick check around all marketing department events. So one more event here before we go into the race. It's another one of these merch line ones. So we'll go with the lower cost one as we did last time. Not enough money for the higher cost, so hopefully that goes through all okay for the last episode next time out. And a retirement announcement, Bottas retiring, of course. That won't be canon in terms of the Ultimate Career Universe, because we know Bottas carries on for 2023. So we'll ignore that for now. And that's more or less all that needs to be done. So without further ado, it's time to get potentially our title clinching weekend underway in Brazil. Welcome then to Interlagos, and the heavens have opened for qualifying here in the Brazilian Grand Prix. Of course, last time out we dealt with our first wet race of the season in the Circuit of the Americas in Texas, but this time out we're getting a wet qualifying, which I think we've actually had 1 or 2 times this season. But in terms of full wets, it's the first time actually getting on the circuit like that. So of course Brazil, treacherous in these sort of conditions, and it can turn its head just like that. So we've gone to our first qualifying lap here, down the hill towards turn 1 into the center S, the first 3 corners. Of course, we had a centre fault there, so had to wait a little bit to set our first lap. So Verstappen already through fastest, and you can tell this is the first time on the wet tyres, because we are struggling here in this first sector early on. So I'm not expecting a massively fast lap, but hopefully the rain will dry a bit. We can try and go some inters later on in the session. But completing our first sector, 19.3 in sector 1, to head down towards turn number 4 here, trying to avoid going wide, but we do go wide regardless, and exit the left hand there. So pushing on to the end of our first lap now, coming up the hill and completing our first run, going up through turns 14 and 15, up through the gears again into 7th gear, charging up towards the line to complete our first lap. P17 on the board as of right now. But coming up towards the line, we'll see how we stack up compared to everyone else in the running order. It is P6 between Ocon and between Albon, so not a fantastic start there, and you can sort of tell our projectors to push us down the order a little bit. So we'll go for a second lap on these wet tyres, see if we can improve any more and perhaps place 2 amazing mistakes on the first lap. Round we go though, and that brings an end to our first run as a spin there, compromises our second lap. P11 on the board right now as we accelerate time and getting set for our last runs. Alonso there in P4. Alonso's done fantastically in qualifying, especially in the second half of the season. It has to be said, he's done a fantastic job at Alpine, and of course Aston Martin, we'll be loving to have him on with Vettel retiring at the end of the season. But we'll come on now to our last run, and Mark's recommending the intermediate tyres, because of course the track is still wet, but whether it's changed in that time, I mean, they're saying it's going to the wets, but we'll keep it on the inters for now and go for that last run. So on to our final lap here, see big improvement. The track a lot less wet, the rain definitely a lot lighter, but an improvement by almost a second here as it enter the turn number 10 and pushing on towards the last sector on the circuit. So in terms of what it's puts, because we're P19 right now, but it looks like everyone else has gone for wet tyres for their last run. So we'll see if that's how much difference this actually makes. As you put a set of green, second sector, 1.3 seconds up as you enter turn 12 for the last time. Up through the gears, going back up the hill, bit of a slide there off the corner, so it's trying to avoid losing too much time there because we're gaining it regardless. Charging up towards the line. I'm not so sure what the pole time is at this stage. I'm not sure if anyone up front's gone for Inters, but can we try and nab pole later on? Perhaps it's going to be very tight to make our way up towards the line. It's complete qualifying. Third place, so honestly, P19 to P3, that helped us massively there, and hopefully that'll be in front of Verstappen. We can use that to try and gain some points on him in the sprint race as well.
With qualifying finished, it's time to remind ourselves once again of our top three: Perez, Sainz, and Cohen. Well, that wraps up qualifying, but don't worry, we'll be back tomorrow as we head into the Grand Prix.
So Perez takes pole and ultimately wins the rivalry. Sainz in second, we qualify third, the only car to qualify in the intermediate tyres. Alonso fourth, Guan Yu Zhou fifth, and Verstappen takes sixth place in the end. So early chance to try and gain some more points on him in the sprint. Let's make our chances in the Grand Prix of securing the title that bit easier. But now it's time to move on to the sprint.
Forget pit stops, forget fuel management. It's pedal to the metal all the way here as we get ready for today's sprint. Let's run you through the driver grid order for today's exciting sprint. Sergio Perez will lead us away from pole position, and a very happy Carlos Sainz will start second. Moving on to the rest of the grid, we have Cohen, Fernando Alonso, Guan Yu Zhou, and Verstappen, Albon, Vettel, Tsunoda, and Lewis Hamilton, Bottas, Norris, Lance Stroll, and Leclerc, Ricciardo, Mick Schumacher, Esteban Ocon, and Pierre Gasly, Magnussen, and Nicholas Latifi. Which of these drivers will get pole position today? We'll soon find out.
Here we go then, no more talking, time for action for the sprint race here in Brazil from P3 on the grid, and the rain has shifted completely and we are in for a dry sprint race here. Of course, 12 laps, no pit stops, no fuel changes, it's all about pace. Let's do this.
Here we go then, the formation lap is underway ahead of today's sprint.
So Perez and Sainz on the front row then, we line up in third place and Verstappen down there in sixth crucially. So that's 3 points we're gaining early on, or at least projected to gain on Verstappen, which will be able to lead to 40 points going into the Grand Prix. But can we try and maintain that? And can we try and move past Perez and Sainz? That's the objective in this one.
We're almost ready to start the sprint as the cars take their positions on the grid, with the drivers and teams making their final preparations.
On the way up to the grid then to get the final sprint race of the season underway. Of course, we had a decent record in sprint races. We haven't actually managed to take a podium as of yet. We can try and finish third in this one, or third at the very least, then that'd be a positive one to end off the first three sprint races of Ultimate Career. They've been, as I say, very entertaining as of so far. But of course, Leclerc's won both of them. But from the 7th rows there, it'll be tough for him to do. You see him back there in P14 as they make our way now onto the starting grid. The last two cars taking their positions for 12 laps around the fast-paced Interlagos circuit. We get our first taste of it in the dry conditions. The lights are coming on for the final sprint race of the season. Perez and Sainz in first and second. Lights are out, foot to the floor, and we are underway. Great start there from Alonso on the left-hand side going towards turn 1. Guan Yu Zhou might try the outside there. We've braked way too early, and Zhou takes full advantage of that. P4 then for the rookie. Alonso P3, Sainz and Perez side by side for the lead. Sainz will get out in front, Perez second, and Verstappen now right there behind us. That cushion we had to him on the start is completely gone now. Albon there in P7, so might try and score some points for Williams today if he can have a good race. Down towards turn 4 then, a negative start and 2 places lost in the opening advantage here. Let's try and get those places back as soon as we can as we continue on through the first sector. On 2 now, midway through lap 1, and closing on Zhou, trying to go to the inside, going into turn 10, dive into the inside of the Alfa Romeo to get at least one of those spots back. So on the inside on corner exit, and jumping in front, P4 now in our possession once again, and we'll take Alonso shortly as soon as we can, because he's trying to keep with Sainz and Perez as of right now, but Sainz leading the way here. On to lap 4 this thing, fastest lap in our possession now, going down towards turn 1 and dive to the inside of the two-time world champion. Contact there, Alonso perhaps didn't see us coming, made the move a bit too late there, so Alonso will let him have the place 4 now. We'll try and get back at him as soon as we can. Of course, DRS will be in play down towards turn 4 here on the outside, going over the curb there and pushing past Alonso, powering past on the back straight, going towards that left-hander, clearing him into the corner. But Alonso goes back at it though, dives to the inside, contact again. We run wide, but Alonso made the contact, so we'll jump back in front and hold on to our position for now. But in that, Perez and Sainz now 2.5 and 3 seconds in front respectively, so the chance for the win today most likely gone. But Alonso and then Verstappen are close to us now. Alonso crucially, he's still within a second. We're sliding there out of turn 2 and through turn 3. Alonso takes P3 away once again, and we find ourselves back behind them. Verstappen 6 tenths off right now, so work to be done to try and keep Verstappen at bay and try and get back around Alonso halfway through the sprint race now and pushing on to lap 7. We start lap 7 of this thing. DRS is in deploy once again, going down towards that first corner. We'll try and go for another move if we can. Got Patch go for that dive, a bit more control this time into the first corner, diving in from distance there, putting inside Alonso and getting in front, but he comes back out as we got a bit too deep on corner exits. Going through turn 2, Alonso once again finds himself there, darts back to the inside and takes the place away. The wily old fox that is Fernando Alonso, still giving us trouble here in that Alpine as he run down towards turn 4 once again. Alonso's inside going in, going to outbrake the Spaniard and pull in front on corner exit. Verstappen trying it as well now. Verstappen finds a way through on the inside, double whammy for Alonso, who falls down to P6 now. So excuse me, to P5. So Verstappen in P4 and we take third place back once again. It's back in our starting spot, but Verstappen might be a slightly tougher customer than Alonso was in his first half of the sprint to make away now, going down to the second sector, once again pushing through turns 8 and 9 here. We're going on to the end of lap number 9 now, 3 more laps to go. We cross the line, Verstappen closing in on the way towards turn 1, DRS in deploy, and our championship rival comes barreling at us, going down towards that first corner, dives to the inside, picks the lock, tries to swallow the key and clear the move off of turn 2. He does it just. You've got to go back into line and try and get back around him, but crucially, we were behind at the detection points. We'll have DRS on the way down towards turn 4. You see Alonso in our wake there, trying to close in. Verstappen there is on the left-hand side, going towards the corner, to go on the outside of our championship rival. The Dutchman falls back into P4, and we take P3 back once again. What a scrap it's been with these two fantastic drivers, because only one of us are world champion, but in a race's time, that could change potentially. On to the last lap, then Sainz is dominating this thing. He and Perez have pulled away to a fantastic advantage if we fight Verstappen and Alonso for third. So Sainz comes to the line, making it Ferrari 100% in this sprint race in 2022. Sainz wins, Perez in second, and will come charging up towards the line. Alonso closing in, Verstappen 1.7 back. So Alonso's dispatched Verstappen completely there. So it'll be 2 points again on Verstappen. Alonso behind us. We take P3 at the flag. So a decent sprint race there and a good way to cap things off and take our first podium in a sprint race. Of course, that'll give us a P3 starting spot for the Grand Prix as well. I'll say our chances to wrap up this championship going into this Grand Prix are very, very high indeed.
Let's have a quick look at how the drivers' standings have changed. Cohen increases their championship lead. It's time to check out the constructors' standings. And pulling further ahead in the standings, it's Red Bull. With the sprint wrapped up, we now have our grid lineup for the big race tomorrow. Be sure to join us then for what will no doubt be a fantastic race.
So Sainz takes the last sprint of the season, then Perez second, we finish in third, and it's Alonso fourth. Verstappen takes fifth, so that's 2 points for us gained. Guan Yu Zhou in sixth, fantastic race for him. Alex Albon gets Williams' first points on the board of the season, 2 points for them, and Hamilton finishes in 8th place. Of course, the championship standings, we lead by 39 points now to Verstappen, so he needs to outscore us by about 14 points or so in order to ensure the title goes to Abu Dhabi. But if he doesn't, and we outscore him, then we win the title today. Red Bull 10 points clear of Mercedes now in the constructors. That fight is still very much on, but it could go on its head in a matter of about 36 laps or so here at Interlagos. So the championship is on the line for our first real chance to clinch it. It's time to head now to the Brazilian Grand Prix.
Formula One returns to Interlagos once again with the stage set for what promises to be another classic Sao Paulo Grand Prix. Sebastian Vettel famously clinched his third championship here in 2012, and just 4 years later, Max Verstappen treated us to one of the finest wet weather drives of all time. Interlagos, always a very special race here in Brazil. It's a 2.7-mile circuit with 9 lefts and 6 rights for a total of 15 corners. The fastest lap today should have an average speed of around 135 miles per hour, if, of course, the weather stays dry until the end of the Grand Prix. It's time to take a look at our starting grid for today's race. An immense lap from Carlos Sainz yesterday puts him in pole position, and Cohen completes the front row. Looking at the rest of today's grid, we have Fernando Alonso, Verstappen, Sergio Perez, and Hamilton, Leclerc, Mick Schumacher, Stroll, and Guan Yu Zhou. They've taken a grid penalty. Ocon, Norris, Sebastian Vettel, and Bottas. They'll be starting further back after an earlier grid penalty. Gasly, Magnussen, Nicholas Latifi, they've taken a grid penalty, and Yuki Tsunoda. Ricciardo and Alex Albon picks up the last spot on the grid. That's it then, it's time to go racing as we head down trackside for today's race. Anthony Davidson joins me once again in the commentary box, and it's fantastic to have you with us here, but I'm curious, as a man with experience out on the track, how do you stop those pre-race nerves from becoming overwhelming when you're lining up on the grid?
Well, I imagine they'll be starting to feel the adrenaline as they anticipate the rundown into turn 1, a bit like preparing to go into battle. The unknown situation will bring nerves, but that's a good thing. It will keep them focused on the moment and on their surroundings as we build towards the start of the Grand Prix.
Time for action then here at the Brazilian Grand Prix. From second place now on the starting grid, a front row start thanks to Alonso taking a penalty, and our first World Championship is in touching distance. We've got one hand on the trophy here today, and in terms of strategy, it'll be a mediums tyre start, going on to the hard tyres for the remainder of the Grand Prix. I considered the softs for a second, not worth it, so we'll keep things as they are then, and hope this strategy is enough to try and take us to our first driver's title.
Here we go then, the formation lap gets underway and the excitement here is building as we near ever closer to the start of the race. Which team will come out on top? Who's got their strategies right for today's race? We'll soon find out.
Apologies, it was Perez with the penalty, but in terms of starting tyres, everyone is on medium tyres except for Tsunoda, who's opted to start from the softs from P18. We'll see where that gets him over the course of the first stint.
Cars come back towards the grid to line up for the start of the race. Each driver will be wanting to get the best start they possibly can. And they'll be hoping to finish today's race on the podium, failing that, within the points.
Within the points to do us just fine, but crucially, I reckon a podium finish will be more than enough to try and clinch this title. It's in range, ladies and gentlemen. We're 50 episodes into this series, and we are here with a chance to claim our first world title. And going into this race, projected right now, if things stay as they are, then we will be champion, but it's still got 36 laps to handle around Interlagos. The weather is perfect for this one. Sainz and myself on the front row now. It's great to get the first one underway. 5 red lights for round 15, the second to last race of 2022. It's the Brazilian Grand Prix. And it's lights up, foot to the floor, go, go, go. We are racing here at Interlagos. Sainz a good start, covers us off, going down towards that first corner. Perez on the outside, going towards turn 1, tries the outside. Alonso there as well, close to contact with Alonso, making our way through turn 2. There was contact, we've got a warning for a collision there, but luckily, nothing too major. But Sainz is checked out already, he's 8 tenths in front, almost a second clear as going down towards turn 4 for the first time. It's having a good start, he's taking P3 away from Perez and Alonso, so good getaway from him. He's now right in our tail, but crucially, remember, this won't be enough for him to try and win, try and keep the title rolling. Let's try and keep in front of him and try and close down Sainz if we can. Try and take one more victory this season if we can, because at this stage Verstappen can't get us on countback. On to lap 3, DRS will now be deployed, and we've got the fastest lap in our possession. There's pace in this Mercedes as there was in the sprint race, but we've got a bit more pace to play around with this time round. And Verstappen keeping us busy right now. He's 7 tenths back to still in the DRS range himself. On to lap 6 now. We're on the tail of Carlos Sainz. Of course, was our early title rival as well, but it's fallen back in the championship fight, going down towards turn 4. DRS, our first real attack on the race lead on Carlos Sainz, going down towards turn 4, pulling to the inside of the Spaniard, going into the left-hander. Got plenty of experience fighting Spaniards this weekend, thanks to Alonso, going through turn number 5 now. Going to try and go side by side with Sainz for the race lead, pulling in front, going towards turn 6, but Sainz is there on the inside, pulls in front for a second. We go charging around the outside and clear Sainz off the corner. So for the first time today, we lead the Brazilian Grand Prix. Sainz now second, and Verstappen hot on his tail in third place. So a great race unfolding here early on in this thing, but still a long way to go in this race. And Sainz, we're under pressure from Verstappen, but we'll try and get the lead back from us as well. On to the end of lap number 7 now. Going on to lap 8. Sainz is closing and pulls to the inside of the racetrack there. DRS for himself, going towards that first corner. Holding on to our fastest lap for now. Going into the first corner on the outside of Sainz, on the inside for turn 2, and pulling clear of the Ferrari once again, shutting the door on him. And Verstappen may put him under pressure now. And Perez and Leclerc not too far behind as well. This could be an interesting fight to keep our eye on. Going down towards turn 4. Sainz spends the inside as Perez goes for it. He goes to the middle now. And Verstappen on the outside going towards turn 4. They're 3 wide behind us. Perez nipping in front, running wide there, paying too much attention to our mirrors. Verstappen takes full advantage of both cars, goes around the outside and takes P2 away. So he's right on our tail now, but of course, again, this won't be enough for him. He needs more than this. He needs to be around us at this point in the Grand Prix to make our way down through turn number 11. Around we go! And that's a big spin there, off onto the grass, and there's a number of places lost there. All of a sudden, P7, we're down the order massively there. What's just happened? Going through turn 11. Crucially, that could be Verstappen's biggest opportunity. He's been waiting for that moment since he took second place away, and it's happened. And a big mistake there. We haven't had a spin like that all season long, and crucially, that could cost us the championship in terms of today and keep the title rolling to Abu Dhabi, going down through turn 11. Look at the replay here. The replay angle is awful. You don't actually get to catch the spin until we're midway through it on the grass there. So we'll get a replay from Verstappen's POV. He'll be smiling with glee in that cockpit as he makes his way through turn 10 of the replay and down towards turn 11. Crucially, we're a bit wide off our line there going through the left-hander, and Verstappen watches us spin out. He was just slide off the racetrack, lost traction, and Verstappen takes full advantage of that, takes the race lead for himself. That's a big number of points to be gaining. So not only will he keep it going to Abu Dhabi at this stage, we actually have a decent chance of trying to beat us if things in Abu Dhabi don't go our way, because of course we haven't been fantastic there in our first 2 seasons at Yas Marina. So that's something to keep an eye out for. Let's try and get this lead back. Of course, we can still win the title from here. Verstappen wins the race, and we only need 4th place and the fastest lap to secure it. But coming in now for our first stop of the race on lap 16, we spent the majority of that first stint in there chasing the rest of the pack, because we were about 3 seconds behind Alonso and everyone else when we re-emerged onto the circuit. And Lando Norris kept us busy too. But pushing on to our set of hard tyres now, we'll take those at the end of the Grand Prix here. But we're still reeling from what could be a crucial moment as Verstappen exits the pit lane now quite a way in front. There is Alonso coming out as well as we make our way towards pit exit ourselves. See the gap that is there just purely by the time we actually reach the pit exit and going back out onto the racetrack once again, sliding down the new hard tyres. Let's be careful, of course, get those up to temperature in the next lap or so. Vettel there in P12 might emerge right behind us, actually perhaps alongside us going down towards turn 4. We're going to come out just in front of Vettel as he goes, because he's going through his last few races as a Formula 1 driver before he retires at the end of the season. Going down towards turn 4 though, Vettel won't put us under any pressure. He's about half a second back, so we're all good for now because we've got pace in our car regardless. On to lap 17 now, start lap 18, halfway through this Grand Prix. The cars around us all coming in. Lando Norris is in, but crucially, he might actually emerge in front of us here. It looks like the strategy has actually worked at this point. The cars have gone out a lap longer than we have, as a result coming out faster. Norris appears from the pit exit in front of us, so he was behind us coming into the pit lane, but now he comes in front, so we've got a lot of work to do in this race, try and get everyone back. Of course, P4 is what we need. We can try and hold on to this fastest lap towards the very end of the race, but of course we can't miss out on the fact that the AI get quick on the last lap and often try and take the fastest lap at the last moment. So we have to keep an eye on that here as we make our way through onto lap number 19 and closing on Norris going up towards turn number 6 here. Can't make a move as of yet. Might try going down towards turn 8 if we can. The AI often leave a chance on the inside. Going to dive in there and make the move. P7 in our possession now, and Norris no longer holding us back. Got Leclerc there in P6, Hamilton P5, and it's Alonso in 4th place as of right now. Verstappen still leads the way. Of course, if he wasn't leading, we'd be breathing a lot easier, but that is the situation right now thanks to our spin. We've got to try and get back as best we can. Alonso leads the train, and Hamilton, and then Leclerc. And here we go to the inside now, going through turn 15 and onto the home straight once again, going down towards turn 1, side by side with the monogas coming into that first braking zone. On the inside of Leclerc going through, can't quite clear him out of turn 1, but going into turn 2, we'll shut the door and keep our place down. So that's P6 for us, and Hamilton, our teammate, now sits in P5. DRS on the run down towards turn 1, can we close enough? Not as of yet. He's focusing on taking another Alonso. Right now it is Perez in P3, Sainz in P2, and Verstappen still leading the way. Sainz not doing us any favours right now, and trying to take the lead from Verstappen. On to lap 27 now, pulling to the outside of our teammate, going down towards that first corner, around the outside of Hamilton, into turn 1, makes contact with Alonso there, going through the first corner. We'll take full advantage and backing off and take P5 away, and Alonso our next target here, of course, and this could be the spot that brings us the title potentially, is to make our way down onto the DRS straight towards turn 4, once again, pushing on to the lap 28 now, a lap later, and going in towards turn 3 and 4 once again. Of course, this could be the title on the line if we can make this move on Alonso, potentially going down towards turn 4, once again, closing on Alonso once more, and diving to the inside from a long way back there, avoiding going wide only just, and Alonso gets all out of shape there and falls away. So it's P4 for us now, P4 fastest lap. That should be enough to secure this title as he now push on towards the last lap of this Grand Prix. Verstappen is still leading the way as he makes his way through. Let's keep an eye out. If he sets the fastest lap here, that'll be our chances done for the minute to make way. He makes his way up towards through the gears and towards turns 14 and 15 for the final time. Verstappen trying to keep himself alive in this title fight. He's done everything he needs to do today and runs to the line to win the Brazilian Grand Prix. Took another victory for him this season, and he's nabbed the fastest lap at the last second there, and that might not be enough for us. Let's keep an eye on what Mark says. We come over the line, we're going to weave just in case. P4 at the flag. Have we done it? Oh, we haven't done it, and it looks as though only just by the skin of Verstappen's teeth drive the day for Verstappen, and the title, crucially, will go to the last race in Abu Dhabi. We didn't do enough.
The superb Sao Paulo Grand Prix comes to an end then, and it's a thoroughly deserved victory. Anthony Davidson, what helped them deliver this result, do you think?
I think that smart tyre management on track and very smooth driving definitely assisted in their victory today. That combination meant they got the absolute maximum out of their tyres at all times.
Here become today's winners. The team at Red Bull have done a phenomenal job recently, and it's clear to see that they've put in the work, and they should be so proud of the victory they've secured here.
So Verstappen then does just enough to keep the title hunt alive. That fastest lap point was all he needed, because if he hadn't taken that, it'd be 26 points in the standings, and that would have been enough, because he couldn't have beaten us on countback in terms of race victories, because he could only tie us from there. But Verstappen wins then, Sainz second, and Perez in third, and that means that we will get a crucial last race title decider only just going into Abu Dhabi. But let's have a look now at the final results from that fantastic Brazilian Grand Prix.
So let's review the drivers' standings. Despite the best efforts of our championship leader, that lead has taken a bit of a knock today. Some amazing talent out on the track today. But Anthony, who would you pick as your driver of the day?
Often my go-to would be a driver who's managed to pull off an especially impressive feat during the race. However, in this instance, I was more impressed by Max Verstappen's solid, clean driving throughout the event.
It's time to see how things are shaping up in the Constructors' Championship. And pulling further ahead in the standings, it's Red Bull. After an event like that, who knows what the sport has in store for us next time out? Be sure to join us once again as we continue to bring you all the excitement of Formula One.
Let's have a look then at the rest of the race results off of the podium. Obviously, Verstappen, Sainz, Perez, we finish in 4th place, Alonso 5th, Leclerc finishes in 6th, it's Norris 7th, Hamilton in 8th place, big points for Red Bull in the Constructors today. Ocon finishes 9th, and Mick Schumacher nabs the last point on offer today here in Brazil. But I'm still gutted. Verstappen took the fastest lap at the last second, and as a result, the gap is 25 points. So, crucially, the title is still very much in our hands. If we can score just 1 point in Abu Dhabi, that will be enough for us to win the title. But of course, we've been a bit hit and miss with Abu Dhabi so far in this career series, so not quite sure what that race will bring. But Verstappen, 25 back, and needs to win and fastest lap to win the title. Of course, if he finishes second, then he can't even win it as it is. But Red Bull, 35 points clear now over Mercedes. It looks like Mercedes will lose that streak of Constructors titles unless something big happens in the last race. Me and Lewis take a 1-2, perhaps the cap of the season. But guys, that'll do it for this episode of Ultimate Career, and it's all going to come down to the next race in Abu Dhabi, episode 51, the title decider, Cronin versus Verstappen for the World Championship. It's going to be a fantastic Grand Prix. If you enjoyed this one, make sure to like, share, and subscribe for more future F1 content. Have a fantastic day, and we'll see you guys next time when the championship will be decided. Take care.